YouTube, hello, welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. We're going to be going over the second anniversary gear exchange so that folks can have a better idea of kind of like what I believe would be good investments for their game for using this very rare and limited resource. So for the folks that are new to the game, first of all, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the game so far. This is obviously a lot going on, and if you need any help going through just kind of breaking down what all the stuff is, where you should look first, check out my beginner's guide to Ever Crisis. It is a longer video. I think it's a full hour and a half long, but you can jump around to certain chapters that make more sense for you and help break down the game a little bit easier to help you understand kind of everything that the game has to offer. Try not to get too overwhelmed, just have fun, put the game down when you need to, and come back to it whenever you have a chance to, right? If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. You're more than welcome to ever ask me if you need any help. I'd be happy to help out. Okay, so let's get into the second anniversary gear exchange. So, the first thing I want to say is that there are a few, and by a few I mean very, very few choices that I would tell you are probably not very good. And the ones that I wanted to highlight immediately are outfits like the lifeguard outfit. Now, while this aesthetically may be something that you're super interested in because it is a cute look, right? The R abilities on this one, if they have two R abilities that go onto weapons, so things like HP, heal, magic attack, physical attack, etc. Those R abilities on outfits are less useful than the unique ones that we get like Arcanums, right? So like the current banner that's running right now with Cloud and Sephiroth both have an ability that give them 30% extra damage to every single elemental weapon in the game, right? Or elemental damage type in the game. That is insanely more useful than HP and heal, right? So if the outfit that you're looking at, and you can check the outfit stats by just holding the click down on it. If you're on mobile, you just press and hold it, right? And it'll tell you what the stats are, right? The other way that you can do it is you can click on the outfit and then click here as well, and this will tell you the stats as well. I prefer to just hold it because I don't want to accidentally exchange it, but I'm just paranoid. So if the armor that you're looking at has two of those abilities, so like this one has two of those weapon R abilities. If it has two of these, I would avoid it, right? I don't think that that's going to give you a bunch of extra help with this game. And if you're looking for something to help improve your account or increase the damage of your account, that's where I would start to avoid, right? I would start away from these type of things because these are not going to increase your damage ceiling as much as it seems, right? Even though, again, some of these are cool. I actually like the scrap armor for Barret, and I wish I had it, if I can be totally honest with you. Even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for my account, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Barret, who is a tank. I just think that this is cool. I like the little mech outfit. I just think it's neat. So, but yeah, so that's where I would start. If you're trying to avoid making a mistake, quote unquote, that's where I would start. The second thing I want to point out is that at the end of the day, this is a free gear voucher. This is a video game. Pick the one that you like. If you want to have fun with the game and you think that Barret's Electro armor is the coolest thing since sliced bread, which by the way, I do. I think Barret's Electro armor is rad, right? I have a better tank outfit for him now. That was a limited outfit, but this is still a cool look, right? I love the purple. The coat looks rad. The Indomitable Soul is actually a pretty good R ability with 20% extra defenses and 10% extra attack. It's solid, right? So it's good, right? But like, if you like it, just get it, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Nothing that you're going to get from these featured, these second anniversary gear exchanges is going to make your, account so much better that it's going to change your ability to play the game, right? So at the end of the day, have fun, pick the one you want, and go from there. Now, there are a few that I think are probably, quote unquote, the ones I would call the best, right? And most of them are ones that released within the last couple of months. So certain things like, well, I don't necessarily like Bunny Apron very much. But one example, this is a perfect example, Dark Flyer. This is one that was just released for Sid back in March. And this one comes with 11 spell Arcanum that gives 30% extra lightning damage and 20% extra ability damage for magic ability potency specifically, which is a 50% boost to lightning damage, while also providing an additional 15% defenses, which is just a solid increase for what is a tank in Sid, right? And the way that Sid is able to support your team then is that he comes in with the Dragoon Lance, which is a featured weapon that you can pull from any banner as a wishlist item that does AoE magic lightning damage and also lowers their lightning resistance at the same time. And then this increases that damage to an even higher level. This is a great outfit for lightning damage Sid to increase his damage by a pretty decent margin, right? That said, the damage weapon that he gets, it's area of effect, and most area of effect weapons are like, you know, not as much damage as single target, obviously, but also it's a lower percentage, right? There are other lightning damage weapons that you may have gotten already if you played in the Dragon Quest crossover last month. 2 weapons released in the lightning damage builds that are definitely stronger than Dragoon Lance, so that's an option as well, right? But it's still good, right? It's really, really good. So anything that's got one of those Arcanums that increase damage by 50%, that's a huge increase and definitely worth your consideration, just because it's just so much stronger than what we've seen for other Arcanums, right? So I actually have Lucia's, which increases her Earth ability damage by 50%, with giving that 15% extra defense as well, while she also has Rifle of the Hunt that decreases Earth resistance, decreases physical defense, and does solid Earth damage, right? So this is something that, like, I think it only does physical defense, not Earth resistance. I may have misspoke there, but do you understand my point? It's really good, right? So just don't fact check me. But like, it's solid, right? It helps Lucia's supportive weapon do more damage, which is great. It gives her a little bit of defensive ability, so it lets her stay up so she can continue to deal those supportive effects, which is also great. And it makes just Lucia just a better overall support for Earth teams, which is awesome, right? Any one of those Arcanums that exist are all excellent choices. The other one that it released that doesn't necessarily have that, but is very similar to the banners that we're seeing right now, is the Rabbit Butler for Zac. This gives him the full Arcanum, so it gives the Omni Arcanum, which gives extra 30% damage to every element in the game. The problem with this weapon is that Zac only has one weapon that deals significant damage of any of these types in his featured pool. The rest of these weapons were all limited weapons that exist on crossover banners, which may or may not rerun, right? So if you're new to the game, this is one that I would normally just say, this is probably the one that most people will get from the 2nd Gear Anniversary voucher. If you just started for 2nd Anniversary, this is not the one you want to choose. It's still really, really good, right? And eventually he probably will get some support in these other elements, right, to help him in those areas. But for the time being, all of the damage that he has in the game right now is focused around ice, and then everything else is supportive for Zac. That's in his featured pool of weapons. So this will not help you clear content at the start, except for ice content. And if you were going to do something like that, I would much rather pull on the Yuffie ice outfit than the Nanaki mantle. That gives 35% while also giving some extra defenses, right? And her ice damage weapon does more damage than Zac's, right? And she also has another ice weapon called the Rocker's Guitar in the featured pool that gives your entire team exploit weakness, which is also very good. Totally separate conversation. Check out my weapon spreadsheet if you're interested in more details. But like, that's kind of my focus. So if you're a newer player, the thing that I would try to grab is any of the outfits that match with the free login weapons that we're getting, right? So when you look at the login bonus, and we go through all the login bonuses, you've got the 2nd Anniversary 5-star weapon gift login bonus. If you click on these boxes, you can see the weapons that we're going to receive, right? So you can see that you're going to get a 6-star, an OB6 weapon for Tifa's water, because this is water. You can see by clicking on the item, and this is fire. And so both of these weapons are very, very good for an overall DPS in the game. And you can choose with the 2nd Gear voucher one of these 2 outfits to improve that character's damage with that weapon. Then we go to day 4. You can see we get a 6-star version of Little Red Wreath, which is that ice weapon that I was talking about, which makes it very easy to then select Yuffie's ice Arcanum, or the Diner Tray, which does 710% wind damage. We can also choose Yuffie's Wind Arcanum. That gives an extra 15% wind potency as well. And Yuffie actually has not 1, not 2, but 3 wind weapons in this game that she can utilize in her featured pool with that Wind Arcanum. So that's also another option. And you can kind of continue to go down the list, right? You can choose the lightning outfit for Vincent. You can choose the fire outfit for Vincent. Both of those would be perfectly fine. This is where I said I would probably just skip Zac. I wouldn't get an outfit for Zac personally, just because I don't think that Zac is in a very good spot as a DPS right now. I do think that that's going to change. I do think that's going to change soon. However, if you're new to the game, I would avoid Zac for now, just because I don't think he's quite in the spot to deal as much damage as the other damage dealers in the game. Sephiroth also gets 2 really good. This is young Sephiroth, by the way, not original Sephiroth that just released. This is the young version of Sephiroth. Gets 2 debuffing weapons that also deal solid damage as well. So this one does earth resist down with earth damage. This one does water resist down with water damage. Both of those outfits are also available for the gear exchange. And again, you can kind of go down the list here, right? Now, if I was to look through all of these, if you are a new player to this game, I would probably prioritize one of the DPS characters' outfits with whatever one of the weapons that are included in these banners. The only one that I would not do until we, the only one that I would not do, right? Confirmed, would not do. I would not do Cloud, because I would far recommend, if you're a new player, that you pull on the current banner and get Cloud's outfit that gives 30% to all the elements, right? That's the one you should have for Cloud. And then you don't have to worry about any of his other outfits as long as it's elemental based, right? That 30% Arcanum is going to be good enough for you for probably most of the game until they do another power creep, right? So it's going to be good enough. I would do the pull on that. The other DPS options, Tifa's a really great option. Either the water or the fire damage build is fine. Both of those outfits are both very good. They're not like, you know, top tier, this is the best thing to pull, right? I'm not worried about that. One gives water, this one gives water ability potency, so 35% extra water damage, as well as magic ability potency. So it helps you maximize some of your magic ability potency. That is a weapon R ability, but magic ability potency is one where we don't mind having a couple extra points. So it's not the worst one that you can have in an outfit. And then the fire outfit comes with the 35% fire damage, and very similar to the one that I just showed you for Yuffie, comes with some extra HP, and I think it's physical defense is the other one. And they just recently increased how much HP that fire outfit gives as well, so they just buffed that one a little bit, which is nice. So I think both of those are solid choices for Tifa, and Tifa is one of the most supported characters in this game. So food for thought if you're interested in building around Tifa. She gets banners a lot, so it's definitely one that you could probably get and support, which is nice. And in terms of Yuffie's another one that also gets a lot of support. I think that if your choice is to pull for either Yuffie's or Tifa's outfits, I would wait until the banner releases next Wednesday, so the 17th, just to make sure, or the 16th, I suppose, in the States. But if either of those outfits end up being Omni Arcanums, which I don't anticipate that they will be, but if they are, you wouldn't want to, and you have the resources to pull for it, right? You wouldn't want to have the second gear voucher used today, go grab one of their outfits, and then you decide, oh crap, I would have pulled for this. And then now you're kind of stuck in a rut, right? The best part about these gear vouchers is that they don't expire, so you don't have to make a decision today, right? And that's the most power that you can have with this gear voucher, is to save it for as long as you can until you want or need to pull for a specific damage help, right? So if you're having trouble with a fire damage stage, or there's a damage or a max damage challenge, or not a max damage challenge, I'm sorry, a battle ranking event that has like you've got a wall, right? You need just a little tiny bit more fire damage to get through, and that Passion Mermaid outfit for Tifa that gives her that extra 35% fire damage would push you over the top. Then go grab it, right? That's when you go grab it, is when you want help, when you want help clearing a stage, right? Or clearing an event. Anything that helps you to continue to enjoy the game, right? So those are the both for Tifa and then Yuffie. Obviously, Vincent, both of Vincent's weapons are very, very strong at OB10. 940% with a 20% boost if he has the condition applied, which both of those conditions, by the way, very, very easy to maintain. Getting a buff onto Vincent is very easy to grab. Getting a debuff on the opponent, also very easy to grab, because as of this recording, there has not been an enemy that is immune to elemental resistance down. So as long as you have fire resist down on the opponent, this gets its full damage, right? Buffs are very easy to maintain, right? You just have to have somebody that buffs on your team. Very easy to do, right? Vincent also has weapons in his kit that give him a buff, so he can even apply it himself if you really wanted to go that far. But there are ways to get this buff on that are very easy to get this to maximum amount of damage. And both of those outfits support those weapons very, very well. So both of those outfits are very good. I could keep going down the list here in terms of just the DPS roles. But the thing that you want to do, and again, this is if you're a new player, if you're looking at your characters and you go to their overspeed rolls, you can check your characters here and then click toggle. When you click toggle twice, you're going to see these little symbols next to all their names and then 29. And that's all of their overspeed rolls. Anyone that has the 2 swords are your DPS or your attacker roles in this game, right? So you can see we've got Sephiroth, Yuffie, Vincent, Zack, Tifa, and Cloud. If you're using the second gear voucher today, I would be looking to focus in on one of the characters that has an attacker role, because that's going to increase how quickly you can clear content. And remember, good offense is good defense, right? Don't get me wrong. With the higher content stages, defenses still matter, but like offense is still really, really good, and it will help you clear content today. And that's the thing that's most important, right? You're trying to clear content today. So as an example, you can see here which ones I've upgraded fully in terms of their offensive roles. I don't think that that's like the tier or what you should be doing. Again, the only ones that I would avoid are Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie, and Zack if you are trying to make a choice today. Tifa and Yuffie specifically, because we don't know what their banners are going to be until next week, which we'll see if the live stream tomorrow that they're doing, which I will be co-streaming, by the way, if you're interested in checking that out. I'll be co-streaming that here on YouTube. But the Tifa and Yuffie, I would hold off on any of their outfits until we know for sure what those banners next week are going to be, just so it doesn't conflict with whatever those banners are in case you plan to pull on that banner. I wouldn't pull on Zack because a lot of his weapons are limited and you won't have access to those unless those crossover events rerun. And that's it. The rest of them I would choose, I would have no problem choosing, and that's kind of where I would focus in on. I would focus in on the attacker role. I'm not saying that choosing the healer or the support with Sid's case or the tank roles with Glenn and Nangeal and Barrett, right? I'm not saying that any of those are bad. Those are all still great options, right? You can choose whichever one you want. But the power in this 2nd anniversary gear voucher is that it does not expire. You do not have to choose right now, and you can just choose one that you vibe with later on, or with an outfit that ends up helping your account later on that you didn't think you were going to need, but then you ended up pulling, you know, say you ended up pulling 10 copies of Yuffie's Earth Weapon, and now you want to have this Earthblade Arcanum. Now you can, right? Now you have the option. You can go grab this, because now Yuffie becomes one of your best earth damage dealers, and that's awesome, right? So there's power in waiting, there's power in holding, but also if you're having fun with the game and you're just trying to enjoy the game, just pick the one you want, man. I promise that these outfits are not going to be the end all be all of the game for you. A lot of the outfits that are even just the generic outfits can still clear content in this game. There's still people who make guides around not even using outfits, they just use the generic outfits. So like, there's still ways to clear content in this game without it. Don't stress too much about it. Don't fret too much about it. Just have fun. These are cool outfits. There's a lot of great outfits in here that I think are really, really cool. Like Matt's is one that I liked quite a bit. I thought the Santa outfit looked really cool on Matt. I think this is a cool one. And this one isn't bad either. It gives physical and magic defense, and it gives a debuff extension, which is good for Matt, right? So it's not even like this outfit's bad. It's good. So just pick the one you like, pick the one you vibe with, but I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, if you think that you're not sure about a certain one, like if you think, you know, I wanted to talk about like the Winter Moogle one. Is the Winter Moogle one very good? You can put it down in the comment section down below. Feel free to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You're more than welcome to ask and see what my opinion is on the matter. Even though, again, I don't believe that I have the de facto 100% correct opinion in Ever Crisis. I have been playing this game since day one. I do feel like I've got a pretty good handle on the game. At this point, I think that there are certain ways that you can build characters out that you will maximize your enjoyment of the game, right? And that's really my only goal, is to make sure that you continue to have fun with the game and have fun with it for as long as humanly possible. So if this helped, make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you're enjoying the increased amount of Ever Crisis content that we've been putting out the last couple of days for anniversary. And yeah, I will leave a list. I will leave a link to my weapon spreadsheet down below as well, so you can get an idea of kind of where I view each weapon for each character. But again, make sure you check the FAQ portion of that spreadsheet, because that is not an end-all be-all guide. This is not like oh, I got a B-tier weapon, I'm screwed. That is not how that spreadsheet works. It's to help you understand like what each weapon is utilized for primarily, and how you can utilize it to better your enjoyment of the game. So hope it helps. If it does help, make sure you check out my other beginner's guides here on YouTube. I've got a couple of them that I think will help most new players with getting through some of the overwhelming bit, which is the start of this game. And yeah, appreciate y'all being here. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And as always, we'll see you again in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.